After a plane crash, a group of survivors finds themselves stranded on a remote island, surrounded by wreckage and bodies. Some scream in panic, others are trapped under debris, begging for help. Though most are dead, a few are lucky to be alive. Jack, a doctor, stays remarkably calm. He rallies the survivors to aid the injured, using his medical skills to check vitals, perform CPR, and provide first aid. He even saves a pregnant woman with minor injuries. Under his leadership, many pitch in to help. Taking a break, Jack slips into the jungle to check a deep wound on his back. Unable to treat it himself, he meets Kate, a fellow survivor. When he asks if she can stitch, she admits she's only sewn curtains but agrees to help. As they talk, Kate notices Jack's unusual composure, making her question his background. He explains he's a doctor, unfazed by the chaos, but Kate senses he's hiding something. At night, over 40 survivors gather on the beach, grieving and awaiting rescue. They believe the plane's black box will lead help to them soon. But Jack suspects something's off. The wreckage is only the plane's midsection, with the nose and tail missing. He thinks finding the cockpit could yield a radio to signal for help. Kate mentions seeing smoke in a valley, possibly where the nose crashed. Jack plans to investigate at dawn. That night, strange roars echo from the jungle, like an unknown beast, accompanied by a strong gust of wind. Fear grips the group, sensing danger lurking on the island. The next morning, Jack assembles healthy survivors to search for the cockpit, leaving a young man in charge of the injured. Charlie, a young musician, and Kate join him. As they prepare, Kate grabs shoes from a corpse, noticing an older bald man staring at her with an odd smile. Jack, Kate, and Charlie trek into the jungle as rain pours. They soon find the plane's nose. Inside the cockpit, they face cold corpses. Jack searches for a radio, but the pilot suddenly sits up, coughing violently. He's alive. Jack gives him water and reports 48 survivors, noting 16 hours have passed without rescue. Guided by the pilot, Jack finds the radio, but it's broken and has no signal. Charlie briefly disappears, reappearing from the bathroom. Suddenly, a deafening roar shakes the ground. Through the window, they glimpse a massive shadow moving past, growling like a monster. Terrified, they freeze. The pilot peers outside but is swiftly attacked by an unseen creature, dragged away with screams and blood splattering. Jack, Kate, and Charlie grab the radio and flee. The creature doesn't pursue. When they return, they find the pilot's bloodied body hanging in a tree. They agree to keep this secret to avoid panic. Back at the beach, tensions rise as two men fight. Frustrated by the lack of rescue, Jack breaks it up, and Kate reveals the radio is broken. Saeed, a former soldier skilled with electronics, offers to fix it. With no cell signal on the island, the radio is their only hope. Saeed repairs it but warns the battery is low. He suggests climbing a nearby mountain for a better signal. Kate, Saeed, and a group of 6 set out. Jack stays to tend to the injured. Some survivors seem unbothered, lounging on the beach like they're on vacation. In the jungle, a beast's roar startles the group. They scatter, except James, who calmly shoots the creature, a polar bear, bizarrely out of place on a tropical island. Suspicion falls on James, a former prisoner. Despite his claim the gun came from a corpse, Kate disarms him, giving the bullets to Saeed for safety. The group reaches a high clearing. Saeed tests the radio and picks up a distress signal in French, repeating for 16 years. A woman in the group translates. It's a French woman's plea for help. The realization that the signal has gone unanswered for 16 years crushes their hopes of rescue. The 16-year-old French distress signal shocks the group. Others were on this island before, yet no one answered their call. Is this island off the world's map? Why can't their radio signals get out? These questions deepen their unease. Despite the grim news, the 6 who heard the signal return to the beach and only mention the radio's failure, keeping the 16-year message secret to avoid panic. They urge everyone to ration food, as rescue could take a long time. The survivors split into 3 teams. One gathers food, another collects water and containers for rain, and the third scavenges electronics. Saeed plans to build a signal booster to extend the radio's reach. Though despair looms, hope keeps them going. Jack tends to a comatose man who, in his delirium, repeats a warning about a dangerous woman in a photo. When Jack sees Kate's face in the picture, he's stunned. He's known her for just 2 days and seen no red flags. He wants to ask more, but the man only repeats the warning. With a severe infection and no medicine, the man's groans keep everyone awake. Jack, as a doctor, can't end his suffering. Kate hands bullets to James, who understands her intent. aiming to end the man's pain with one shot. James misfires, causing a slow death. Jack doesn't intervene. The next morning, the man is dead. Kate tries to explain her photo and why she's labeled dangerous, but Jack stops her. Everyone has secrets, he says, and in this remote place, with uncertain rescue, the past doesn't matter. They must believe they'll be saved. Food runs low, sparking fights over scraps. Without more, tensions will worsen. Locke, the bald man, volunteers to hunt, noting wild boars that fed on bodies the previous night are likely nearby. Shockingly, he has dozens of knives, odd for a passenger. When questioned, he offers no explanation. Locke leads Kate and Michael into the jungle to hunt. An experienced hunter, he tracks boar signs and signals by hand. Michael, confused, speaks aloud, startling a boar. It charges, and while Locke pulls Kate back, Michael is knocked down, his leg pierced by a tusk. Locke tells Kate to take Michael back while he pursues the boar alone. A former boxer, Locke is confident facing a boar with his knife, but as he tracks it, he hears the boar squealing, already attacked by another hunter. Suddenly, a massive creature appears. Even with his experience, Locke retreats in fear. Meanwhile, Kate and Michael haven't reached the beach. Kate's other task was to test the repaired radio. Climbing a tree to try, she hears the monster's roar, drops the radio, and breaks it. They return empty-handed, giving the damaged radio to Saeed. With Michael injured and Locke missing, the hunt fails. At the beach, others try fishing with makeshift spears, but the catch isn't enough for everyone. As night falls, everyone assumes Locke is dead. Then, bloodied, he emerges from the jungle, dragging a 50 kilograms boar, enough food for 2 days. He says killing it was tough but mentions nothing else. Sleepless for days, Jack starts hallucinating a man in a suit watching him from afar. Not a survivor, the figure vanishes when approached. Others think Jack's overworked, being the only doctor handling everyone's problems, sleeping less than 2 hours a night. By day 6 on the island, Jack's stressed as rescue doesn't come, water runs out, and food is nearly gone. He hides the truth to prevent fights. When Charlie and Hugo ask where to store the last water and how to find food, Jack snaps, saying he's not their leader and doesn't know what to do. Then he sees the suited man again, resembling his father, chasing him through the jungle's rough terrain. Jack slips and nearly falls off a cliff. Grabbing a root, he hangs on, exhausted. Locke appears, pulling him up. Though nearly killed, Jack laughs, spotting a stream below, fresh water. Locke says the island has magic and unexplainable things. Skeptical but intrigued, Jack follows the stream, finding a cave with abundant fresh water and plain wreckage. It's an ideal shelter for the group. On the beach, tensions flare as Charlie is caught hiding 3 water bottles, sparking an argument with thirsty survivors. Jack steps in, calming the group. He suggests preparing for long-term survival, as rescue may not come soon, or ever. He urges everyone to avoid conflict and shares news of a cave with fresh water, inviting a few to check it out tomorrow. Meanwhile, Charlie sneaks off to use a stash of drugs. Locke appears, warning him to freeze. A beehive lies underfoot. One move could break it, triggering an attack. Dozens of bees land on Charlie, who stands petrified. Jack grabs a suitcase to trap the hive, but bees swarm Charlie's face. Panicking, he swats at them, stomping the hive. The enraged bees attack, and the group scatters. Charlie and Locke sprint into the jungle. Jack and Kate, waving off bees, dive into the cave. Splitting up, they escape the swarm. Charlie takes the worst stings, but the others are fine. They explore the cave, Jack's promised water source, resting and filling bottles. Jack proposes moving the group here. With 46 people, hauling water daily is impractical. The cave offers shelter from dangerous animals, unlike the exposed beach. With no rescue after a week, Jack believes they must plan for a long stay, leaving 2 people to watch the beach. Back at the beach, some resist. Saeed stays, fearing they'll miss rescue if they move. Michael, eager to leave with his son Walt, agrees. Surprisingly, Kate, close to Jack, refuses to go without explanation, seeming annoyed. Still, some, including Hugo, who says he'll follow Jack anywhere, agree to move due to the beach's harsh conditions. At the cave, while waiting, Charlie sneaks off with his drugs. Locke catches him, urging him to quit, warning he's on a dangerous path. Charlie says only his guitar could help him quit, but the crashed plane's wreckage makes that unlikely. Locke promises to find it if Charlie hands over the drugs. Hesitant, Charlie complies. Locke tells him to look up but says no more. That night, Jack leads a group to the cave. Hugo grumbles about the trek, but the sight of water excites everyone. They won't die of thirst. On the beach, Kate and a few others sit by the fire, clinging to slim hopes of rescue. Alone in the dangerous jungle, Charlie calls for his team but hears only animal sounds. A wild boar charges, and as it nears, a trap drops, snaring it. Locke appears, revealing he used Charlie as bait. The boar will feed them for 2 days. Furious, Charlie demands his drugs back. Locke says he has 3 chances. This is the first. On the third, he'll return them, but Charlie will lose everything. Charlie reluctantly agrees. Back at the cave, Charlie, struggling with withdrawal, rummages for painkillers, claiming a headache. To distract himself, he helps Jack. Suddenly, part of the cave collapses, trapping Jack under rubble. Charlie, covered in dust, runs to the beach for help. Michael and others rush to the cave. Michael, an engineer, assesses the structure to dig safely, suggesting a small person crawl inside. Charlie volunteers, squeezing through and finding Jack alive but injured, surrounded by rocks. As they work, the area collapses again. Charlie, trapped with Jack, knows they must save themselves. Outside, the group panics. Now 2 are stuck. Kate, hearing the news, races to the cave and digs frantically despite warnings. Others join, hoping both are alive. Suddenly, Jack and Charlie emerge from another exit. Jack credits Charlie's quick thinking, digging upward to escape. The group admires Charlie's heroism. Despite the collapse, Jack believes the cave remains ideal for survival. Kate decides to stay with him. Michael and others, initially resistant, choose to stay after seeing the cave's benefits. At night, Charlie seeks out Locke, sweating profusely, struggling to quit drugs. Despite his efforts, he demands his stash back for the 3rd time. Locke, disappointed but true to his word, hands it over. Holding what he craved, Charlie hesitates. He's close to kicking the habit and doesn't want to fail. After a moment, he throws the drugs into the fire. Locke smiles, seeing Charlie's triumph, like a moth breaking free from its cocoon, reborn. A week after the crash, rescue hasn't come. Food and water are scarce, and medicine is even rarer. Shannon, an asthmatic, is in critical condition. Without her inhaler, she could die. With plane debris scattered, finding her suitcase is a long shot. Her brother Boone spots someone hoarding items, including Shannon's bag. Sneaking to grab the inhaler, he's caught by James and beaten. Jack is furious. James selfishly claimed the suitcase and won't return it. Confronting him, Jack demands the inhaler to save Shannon, but James smirks, saying everything on the island is fair game. Boone deserved it for stealing. Despite pressure, James won't budge. Stranded and struggling, his lack of teamwork angers everyone. Shannon's condition worsens. Another attack could kill her. Desperate, Jack teams up with Saeed, a former soldier skilled in interrogation. They tie James up during his nap, expecting a beating will loosen his tongue. But James, stubborn, takes the hits and taunts them. Saeed escalates, jabbing thorns into James's fingertips, gritting his teeth in pain. James still won't talk. Finally, he demands Kate, saying he'll only tell her. Left with no choice, Jack calls Kate. James grins slyly, offering the inhaler's location if she kisses him. Kate balks at the absurd demand but agrees to save Shannon. After the kiss, James coldly admits he never had the inhaler. The suitcase was empty junk. Kate, realizing he's not lying, elbows him in anger for the trick. When Kate tells Jack and Saeed, they're livid at being played. They confront James, but he's escaped his ropes and fights Saeed. In the scuffle, Saeed's knife slices James's artery. Blood gushes, and they pause. Jack quickly stops the bleeding, saving James. Jack now believes James doesn't know where the inhaler is but calls his troublemaking infuriating. James sneers, mocking their do-gooder act. Back at the cave, a woman treats Shannon with medicinal leaves, stabilizing her. Though the inhaler wasn't found, the leaves work for now. Jack, impressed by the woman's knowledge, is relieved. But the ordeal leaves Saeed guilty for nearly killing James. He leaves the group to explore the island, scouting for others. Saeed finds a cable on the beach, stretching from the sea into the jungle. Following it, he spots a crude wire trap. His combat experience helps him step over it, but another trap springs, hoisting him upside down. A branch stabs him, and he passes out. Waking in a damp, dark tent, Saeed's tied to an iron bed. A disheveled woman watches him warily, speaking French, the voice from the 16-year distress signal. She speaks English, and Saeed explains the plane crash and stumbling into her trap. He mentions the 40-plus survivors, but Danielle, the woman, doesn't trust him. Seeming unstable, she interrogates him, shocking him with electricity at any hint of a lie, threatening death. Noticing her broken music box, Saeed offers to fix it. Wary, she sedates him to prevent escape, ties him to a chair, and forces him to repair it. Saeed, skilled with machines, fixes it quickly. Danielle softens, sharing her story, part of an expedition. Her team washed up here after a shipwreck, over 2 months. Her colleagues died, attacked by a strange monster, alone for 16 years. She hides in fear. Saeed thinks she's unhinged but sees her genuine terror. A terrifying roar interrupts. Danielle grabs a rifle and rushes out, ignoring Saeed. He unties himself, takes her spare gun, and follows. Catching up, he aims at her, just wanting to leave. Danielle begs him to stay. 16 years of solitude have broken her, but then relents, letting him go. She refuses to join his group. A week on the island, some lose hope in rescue, planning long-term survival. Others find a clearing to play golf, easing stress. But some still believe help is coming. Claire, the pregnant woman, grows paranoid, dreaming someone wants to kill her. Despite searches finding no threat, she insists she's in danger. When no one believes her, she leaves the cave for the beach, feeling safer there. Charlie, caring for Claire, joins her. The group assumes her stress from impending childbirth causes hallucinations. Who, among dozens of stranded survivors, would harm a pregnant woman? Hugo, with time on his hands, investigates the survivors, jotting down names, addresses, and personal details. He finds the plane's passenger list, with deceased names crossed out, leaving the living. Comparing it to the 46 survivors, he's shocked to find Ethan, a man not on the list. Was he never on the plane? Could he be an island native? Meanwhile, Saeed stumbles back to the cave after days of scouting, revealing a bombshell. They're not alone on the island. The news sparks unease. Someone saw Ethan heading to the beach, where Claire and Charlie are. No one knows who Ethan is, why he's hiding his identity, or how he blended in. He must have bad intentions. Fearing for Claire and Charlie, Jack and the group split up to search. A downpour washes away footprints, making tracking harder. After hours, the rain stops. Jack and Kate find Charlie tied to a tree, lifeless. They cut him down, and despite no pulse, Jack frantically performs CPR. Just as he's about to give up, Charlie gasps awake, hoping for clues. They're disappointed when Charlie, traumatized and dazed, says he remembers nothing. He's a shell of himself, leaving everyone confused. Why would Ethan target a pregnant woman? Other search teams find nothing, but Locke and Boone, still out, keep tracking. Locke, a skilled hunter, won't quit. While bathing under a waterfall, Kate and James spot 2 bodies underwater with a locked suitcase. Searching the corpses yields only a wallet in the case. Without a key, they take it back to camp. That night, Kate tries stealing the suitcase while James sleeps, but he wakes, and they tussle. When Kate won't say what's inside, James refuses to hand it over. Kate glares but backs off. Now curious, James is determined to open it. Using hairpins, James fails to pick the lock. Michael suggests smashing it with something hard. James bashes it against rocks, but the suitcase, impressively tough, doesn't budge. Desperate, he tosses it off a cliff, but it stays intact. Kate, nearby, snatches it. Furious, James chases and catches her, stronger and faster. He reclaims the case, offering to return it if she reveals its contents. Kate stays silent and leaves. Out of options, Kate asks Jack for help, admitting her sensitive past. She says the suitcase holds items from her escorts, including guns and ammo. With no bullets left among the survivors, James getting guns could spell trouble, maybe even revenge. Jack and Kate retrieve the key from a marshal's body. Jack confronts James on the beach, checking his wounded hand. He warns that without treatment, infection could force amputation in 3 days. If James hands over the suitcase, Jack will keep treating him. Reluctantly, James complies but warns Jack not to trust Kate, urging him to check the contents himself. Wary, Jack opens the suitcase. As Kate said, it contains 3 guns, 2 stacks of cash, and some odds and ends. He finds an envelope and hands it to Kate, guessing it's what she wants. She opens it, pulling out a toy airplane. Jack, expecting something significant, questions if it's tied to the crash. Kate confesses, it belonged to the man I killed. On the beach, survivors move luggage and wreckage ashore as tides rise. Despite worrying about Claire's disappearance, Charlie helps a black woman carry items. Most pitch in, except Shannon, who reads a magazine, unfazed. Curious, she asks where Boone and Locke are. Boone says they're still searching for Claire, missing for 4 days. Not resolving this risks panic, especially with Ethan as a threat. In the jungle, Locke and Boone uncover a strange metal hatch under leaves. With no handle or keyhole, they try for 2 days but can't open it. Even Locke, experienced, is stumped. They keep it secret. As the island's mysteries pile up, most survivors see it as a normal island, but Locke believes it holds mystical energy, awed by its unexplainable phenomena. Boone wants to tell Shannon the truth, tired of her questions. Locke doesn't stop him but confirms his intent. When Boone agrees, Locke knocks him out with a knife handle. Boone wakes tied up, with Locke mixing something, asking why. Boone gets no direct answer. Locke says he needs to see the island's wonders. Locke applies a paste to Boone's wound, sticks a knife in the ground, tells him to free himself, and leaves. Confused, Boone struggles to reach the knife but can't. Tied awkwardly, he believes escape is impossible and yells for help. Miles from camp, no one hears. Exhausted, he passes out. A woman screams wake him. Thinking someone's near, he shouts, but realizes it's Shannon, also tied up. A monster's roar echoes through the jungle. Boone panics but prioritizes Shannon's safety. The knife stuck in the ground is his only way out. Straining against the ropes, he barely misses it on his first try. Miraculously, he grabs it on the second, cutting himself free despite the pain. Rushing toward Shannon's screams, he finds her tied to a tree. After freeing her, they flee as the monster's roars grow closer. Knowing they'll be caught if they keep running, Boone pulls Shannon into a tree crevice, where they cling together, silent. The creature nears but doesn't spot them, soon leaving. After ensuring it's safe, Boone leads Shannon out. Though they didn't see the monster, its sound alone was terrifying. They head back to camp. On the way, Shannon asks if Boone's hiding something. Both were tied up by Locke after passing out. Boone admits he and Locke found a strange metal hatch. Mid-conversation, a noise behind them sends them sprinting. Boone races ahead. Shannon screams, then is suddenly lifted and gone. Boone turns back, but the monster and Shannon vanish without a trace. He shouts her name, searching frantically. Near a stream, he spots blood. Following it, he finds Shannon's body, covered in wounds, lifeless. Devastated, Boone blames Locke. Back at camp, he grabs a knife, ready to confront Locke. When he says Shannon's dead, Locke, surprised, points to a woman fetching water. It's Shannon, alive. Boone's stunned. Was the body a hallucination? Locke explains the paste he applied to Boone's head was a drug causing vivid hallucinations. The experience helped Boone let go of inner burdens, feeling lighter. Locke's goal. He hands Walt a knife, teaching him to aim at a tree. Walt's throw hits dead on, showing talent. But Michael, Walt's dad, storms over, snatches the knife, and berates Locke for teaching his 10-year-old a dangerous skill. Locke argues survival skills are vital on the island, but Michael disagrees, threatening to call the cops if they weren't stranded. Walt wants to learn, but seeing his dad's anger, he gives up. The next day, Michael sees Jack's group settling into island life. He suggests building a raft to leave, not waiting for rescue. Jack and Saeed call it unrealistic. 45 people need a huge raft, and the work is daunting. Frustrated by their rejection, Michael storms off, enlisting Walt to help build a small boat. At the beach, they gather materials. Walt spots Locke, sneaks off to meet him, claiming he needs water. Locke urges Walt to obey his dad, but Michael catches them. Furious at Walt's defiance, he burns Walt's favorite comic book and orders him back. Approaching Locke, Michael threatens to kill him if he talks to Walt again. Locke smirks inwardly but stays stone-faced. The next day, Michael confronts Locke, accusing him of hiding Walt, missing for hours. Locke denies seeing him, offering to help search. His tracking skills spot a dog's collar on the ground and voices ahead. They rush over, finding a polar bear clawing at a tree where Walt hides. Terrified, Michael wants to charge, but Locke stops him. Two men can't fight a bear. Locke has a plan. They circle behind, climb a tree. The bear's size keeps it from reaching Walt in the crevice. Michael tosses Walt a knife, telling him to stab if the bear gets close. As they climb, Michael helps Walt up with a rope. Facing the bear up close, Michael's legs shake, but he scrambles up. Oddly, the bear glances at them and leaves. The three breathe a sigh of relief. Michael admits his earlier attitude was wrong. That night, he gives Walt a keepsake box. The bear incident convinces him the island's unsafe, so he allows Walt to learn survival skills. Deep in the jungle, two men sneakily retrieve a suitcase from a rock crevice. Inside are 4 guns. The bald man checks the ammo, tests a gun, and grins. They need 4 trained people to use them. Untrained hands could panic and hurt allies. One's a doctor, another a retired boxer and hunter, both familiar with guns. They recruit Saeed, a former soldier skilled with firearms. They need one more. Jack suggests James, who killed a polar bear with a few shots. a gun enthusiast. James eagerly joins. Kate volunteers. But there are only 4 guns. James asks Jack about ammo count and type. Jack confirms all 4 use 9mm rounds, with over 100 bullets, enough for the group. James grabs a gun he found on a marshal's body, empty of ammo. With Jack's bullets, they now have 5 guns for 5 people. Jack agrees, more people means more safety. The 5 armed survivors and a hostage gather to plan an ambush. Charlie watches from afar, eager to join, but they think he's untrained with guns and would be a liability. Charlie insists he's most responsible for this. 2 days earlier, Claire, missing for 2 weeks, returned from the jungle near camp. Oddly, she's unharmed but has amnesia, remembering nothing since the plane crash a month ago. Her last memory is being on board. Still, her safe return relieves everyone. As for Ethan, who kidnapped Claire, the group's unsure how to handle him. He's likely lived on the island for years, maybe a native, knowing it better than anyone. To him, the survivors are just weaklings awaiting rescue. Tracking his hideout is impossible. The day after Claire's return, Ethan ambushed Charlie on the way back to camp. Charlie's group was no match. Ethan choked him, demanding Claire's return within a day, or he'd kill 1 survivor daily until all 44 were dead. He forced Charlie to choose, Claire or the group. Charlie told everyone but refused to hand over Claire. Jack's group agreed, they couldn't sacrifice her. Unable to find Ethan, they heightened security, crafting wooden shields and spears, setting up 24/7 patrols, lighting torches around camp, and warning everyone to sleep lightly. Despite this, a body washed ashore the next morning, soaked in seawater. Ethan had come from the ocean. True to his word, another would die tomorrow. This couldn't continue. Survivors began avoiding Claire, eyeing her like a threat. Only Claire was unaware of the situation. Jack's group decided to strike, planning an ambush. No matter how skilled Ethan was, he couldn't dodge bullets, especially from 5 guns. They arranged to meet Ethan at the agreed spot. Others hid nearby, ready to capture him. As plans were set, a downpour hit. Claire, nervous, reached the spot, with the 5 hidden close by. Ethan appeared soon after. Hearing Claire's scream, Jack rushed out, tackling him. The others surrounded Ethan, blocking his escape. Wanting him alive, they held fire. Suddenly, shots rang out. Charlie, grabbing a gun from the ground, fired multiple times, killing Ethan. The group stared, stunned. Jack confronted Charlie. They needed Ethan alive to learn about the island, his motives for hiding among them, why he targeted Claire, and when he arrived, with Ethan dead, those answers were gone. Charlie said he couldn't let Claire be hurt again. Keeping Ethan alive would haunt him. Jack, helpless, knew arguing was pointless. The secrets died with Ethan. Michael, building a boat to leave the hopeless island with his son, gave others a glimmer of hope. The boat could only carry 4, leaving 45 survivors to choose who'd go seek rescue. Someone offered Michael stored wires for a spot, but the last slot was undecided. That night, the boat was set ablaze. Despite efforts to douse it, the boat was ruined. Michael's half-month of work was destroyed. Furious, Michael vowed to find the arsonist. The next morning, burns on Jin Su's hands made James suspicious, and he tied him up. Michael believed Jin Su did it, citing a fight he broke up when Jin Su hit his wife, Sun Hwa, and a past clash over a watch. With bad blood, Jin Su had motive. But no one spoke Korean, and Jin Su's words were incomprehensible, causing chaos. Sun Hwa suddenly spoke in English, saying Jin Su didn't burn the boat. His burns came from trying to put out the fire. Everyone was shocked. Sun Hwa had never spoken English in months. Jin Su, her husband, was stunned, unaware she knew English. The group doubted her, still suspecting Jin Su. Sun Hwa insisted he couldn't lie. Michael rejected her explanation. His half-month of work and hope to leave were gone, and he wanted the arsonist dead. Locke stepped in, stopping the argument. He said no survivor would burn the boat. Everyone wanted off the island. A working boat would bring rescue for all. He pointed to others on the island, like Ethan, as likely culprits. Locke's logic calmed the group. Without proof, Michael backed off, unable to act on his rage. Seeing the boat reduced to ash, Michael's resolve to leave with Walt grew stronger. He vowed to build another. Back at the cave, Sun Hwa tried explaining to Jin Su why she hid her English skills, but he ignored her, coldly packing his things. Despite her pleas, Jin Su walked out. Jin Su hauls bamboo to Michael. Despite the language barrier, he gestures and stammers a few English words. Michael realizes Jin Su wants to help rebuild the raft. Convinced, he believes Jin Su didn't burn the first one. Giving up on finding the arsonist, Michael assigns James to guard the new raft 24/7. No one suspects Walt, Michael's son, is the culprit. Close to Walt, Locke guesses the truth but keeps quiet, promising to protect Walt's secret. Walt confesses he burned the raft to stay on the island. Michael's his stepfather, and Walt's childhood was unstable, constantly moving. The past month on the island has been his most peaceful time. Two survivors discover a strange device in the jungle, a sealed hatch-like structure buried in the ground. A modern object on this remote island is absurd. Despite many attempts, they can't open it. Locke and Boone craft a massive stone-headed hammer to smash it, but the hatch doesn't budge. Frustrated, Locke spent nearly a month on this with no progress. For reasons unspoken, they keep it from the others. In a heated moment, Boone notices a shard lodged in Locke's leg, a deep wound. Calmly, Locke pulls it out and treats it that night. The next day, Locke returns to the hatch, undeterred, convinced it's the island's challenge. Boone, impatient, urges him to give up or tell the group for more ideas, but Locke refuses. In a daze, Locke envisions a smoking plane crashing and Boone, bloodied, before him, while he's back in a wheelchair, legs numb. It's just a dream, but it sparks an idea. At dawn, Locke wakes Boone, following his instincts into the jungle. They find a long-dead pilot's body. Locke senses their goal is near. Suddenly, his leg throbs, forcing him to sit. Looking up, he's thrilled to see a small plane lodged on a cliff, identical to his dream. Though crashed long ago, its radio might work. Unable to walk, Locke sends Boone up. The cliff's roots make climbing easy. Expecting useful items, Boone finds stashes of drugs. This plane was for smuggling. In the cockpit, he tries the radio, hearing faint voices, excited. But the plane shakes, ready to fall. Locke shouts for Boone to get out. Ignoring him, Boone tries sending a distress signal. The plane plummets, flipping over. Boone's likely doomed. Calling with no response, Locke, pain subsiding, crawls to the wreck. Seeing Boone bloodied and still, he carries him back, hoping Jack can save him. After a grueling trek, Locke reaches camp. Jack examines Boone, whose severe injuries require a transfusion. Boone weakly shares his blood type, but most survivors don't know theirs. Jack recalls Shannon, Boone's sister, might match, but she's off with Saeed, location unknown. Jack donates his universal blood, hoping Boone's body accepts it. As Jack transfuses, Claire goes into labor. Jin-Soo calls Jack to deliver, but he can't leave Boone. Jack coaches Charlie and Kate on basic delivery. Kate handles Claire's birth, manageable compared to Boone's life or death situation. After the transfusion, Boone stabilizes, but blood pools in his leg. Jack realizes the leg injury isn't from a fall and, untreated, could kill him. With crude medical tools, Jack considers amputating Boone's leg to save him. Lacking surgical blades, he and Michael find a sharp metal crate to cut wood, so a leg should be feasible. Ready to act, Jack's stopped by Boone, who knows even amputation might not save him. A crippled burden, he prefers a quick death. After hesitation, Jack honors his wish. Before dying, Boone reveals he and Locke found a drug-filled plane on a cliff and an unopenable metal hatch. Michael builds another raft but hasn't set a departure due to unstable seas. A physics teacher analyzes wind and humidity, suggesting tomorrow's ideal. Skeptical but trusting his expertise, the group listens. The bigger worry: none of the four raft passengers know navigation, making survival uncertain. Kate approaches Michael, requesting a spot, citing 2 years as a steamship crew member, giving her more sea experience than anyone. But Michael and Walt are set, and Jin-Soo, who helped build the raft, is non-negotiable. James, who supplied materials for the raft, secured a spot early. Kate argues he only gave a scavenged wire coil and knows nothing about sailing, making him useless. With 2 years as a steamship crew member, she can navigate and protect the group. Michael sees her point but can't break his promise, so he denies Kate. Hours later, Michael clutches his stomach in pain, telling Walt to fetch Jack. Jack's group is at the mysterious hatch, discussing it. After Boone's death, Shannon hates Locke, believing he killed her brother. She steals a gun to shoot him but is stopped. Jack, suspecting Locke's secrecy from Boone's dying words, forces him to reveal the truth. Locke leads them to the hatch. Despite the group's resentment over Boone, Locke's obsessed with opening it to uncover its contents. Saeed suggests burying the bizarre object, but Jack sees it as a potential emergency shelter. As they head back to camp, Kate arrives with news about Michael. Jack rushes to check, finding mild poisoning, not life-threatening, likely from tainted water. With Michael set to sail, Jack suspects sabotage, but finding the culprit is as hard as catching the raft arsonist. Michael wonders who poisoned him. He joked about replacing James, and James oddly offered sunscreen, raising suspicions. Michael uses this as an excuse to cut James from the raft. Furious, James knows Kate's after his spot but didn't expect to be framed for poisoning. Sailing means a chance to reach land. He won't let it go. In anger, he empties Kate's backpack, revealing a passport not hers. She planned to assume a new identity. James exposes her secret. Kate was a prisoner under escort, but her marshals died in the crash. Kate admits she was a handcuffed criminal on the plane but vows to turn herself in if they return. Shocked, the group sees her as dangerous, possibly a killer. Since Kate won't reveal her crime, Michael reinstates James, refusing to sail with a convict. The crowd disperses, eyeing Kate warily, leaving her to pick up her scattered belongings. Once recovered, Michael finishes the raft, set to launch tomorrow. Jack suspects Sun-Hwa, Jin-Soo's wife, poisoned Michael. Estranged from Jin-Soo, she didn't want him to leave her alone. Since Michael and Jin-Soo shared water bottles, Michael was poisoned by mistake. Jack promises to keep her secret, but Sun-Hwa fears the four won't survive at sea. The raft prepares to sail, carrying everyone's hopes. Survivors pool their scarce food and supplies, praying the four find rescue. Suddenly, Rousseau, a stranger, appears, warning of an approaching group that will kidnap children and kill adults. She urges them to hide, having survived this before. Black smoke signals their arrival. Skeptical, Jack thinks Rousseau's unstable, though Saeed knows her. Their priority is launching the raft. But black smoke rises from a corner of the island, tensing everyone. Could Rousseau be right? She readies weapons, saying she can hide alone, but 40+ people can't. Jack recalls the hatch. If opened, it could shelter them. They show Rousseau, who's stunned, never having seen it in 16 years on the island. She doesn't know how to open it. Locke suggests dynamite to blast the hatch, but no one has any. Rousseau reveals a place called Black Rock has dynamite, offering to lead them. With no other options, Jack's group heads out, aiming to return before dark. Physics teacher Arst volunteers, claiming his knowledge will help. As Jack's group treks to Black Rock, the others push Michael's raft into the sea. Rescue hinges on it. Michael, Walt, Jin-Soo, and James wave goodbye, embarking on a perilous journey. Jack's group hurries through dense jungle to return before night. Leading, Rousseau stops at cloth tied to a tree, marking Black Rock's dark territory. Years ago, her science team caught a strange illness here, dying one by one. She urges retreat to avoid death. Terrified, Arst wants to leave, advising Jack to handle dynamite gently, then flees. Jack presses on, telling Rousseau to continue. Clear skies turn to heavy rain. Unprepared, they're soaked. Arst, panicked, runs back. A deafening roar, like a giant machine, echoes. They hide, but the sound passes quickly. As rain stops, Rousseau cryptically calls it the island's security system. No one's hurt. Too scared to go alone, Arst rejoins them. At Black Rock, they find an ancient ship in the jungle, long abandoned. Seeing it, Rousseau flees, visibly afraid. Jack's group enters, finding a crate of dynamite. Though old, it's usable. Arst, a high school physics teacher, knows explosives. He tells everyone to stay back, handling it himself. He repeatedly warns the group to be gentle. Nitroglycerin is unstable, and the slightest mistake could trigger it. Don't do it like this, it's dangerous. Suddenly, a massive explosion throws them to the ground. When the dust settles, Arst is in pieces, his sacrifice showing the dynamite's power. Only one stick detonated, the rest are intact. Jack's group takes just a few sticks, enough for their needs, wary of further risks. Carrying the dynamite, they barely breathe, haunted by Art's fate. For safety, the explosives are split between two people. Drawing lots, Locke and Kate are chosen. The four rush back to camp before dark. Meanwhile, Michael's group sails off, starting their survival journey. The crude raft, built with limited island materials, carries their hopes. They rely on Saeed's radar and flare gun. By day, the radar shows nothing. At night, a small blip appears, indicating something nearby. In the dark, they see only ripples. James thinks it's another boat, eager to fire the flare, but Michael fears wasting their only shot. With rescue at stake, Michael hands James the flare gun. A bright flare lights the sky, and a distant light confirms a boat. Overjoyed, Michael's group waves and shouts. Though small, the boat means rescue. Michael explains they're plane crash survivors, with over 40 others on the island. But the boat's crew demands Walt. Michael's face falls. James and Jin-soo grow wary. These aren't rescuers. Refusing to comply, they're outmatched. A shot hits James. Jin-soo dives to save him. The attackers board, grabbing Walt. Michael fights but is knocked into the sea, helpless. He watches his son taken. Worse, the attackers toss explosives, obliterating the raft. On the island, black smoke rises, a danger signal. The survivors pack up, moving from the beach to the caves for safety. As Charlie prepares to carry Claire's baby, Rousseau appears. Not seeing Saeed, she urges Charlie to find him. Charlie complies, thinking it's urgent. Moments later, Rousseau offers to hold Claire's baby. Claire refuses, spotting scratches on Rousseau's arm, triggering vague memories from her missing time. Snapping back, Claire finds her baby gone, along with Rousseau. Panicked, she sobs, begging Charlie to find her child. Saeed, piecing things together, leads Charlie to the black smoke. They find only a fire, no sign of the enemy group Rousseau warned about. Rousseau emerges with the baby, confessing she lit the fire to lure others, hoping to trade Claire's child for her own, taken years ago. Her plan failed. Ashamed, Rousseau flees alone. Charlie and Saeed return the baby to Claire. Meanwhile, Jack's group returns with dynamite, heading to the hatch. Hurley spots tiny numbers on it, familiar as his cursed numbers. He tries stopping Locke, but it's too late. A massive explosion blasts the hatch open. Locke and Jack peer inside with torches. It's an entrance, but the ladder's broken. To learn what's below, they'll need to climb down. This concludes Season 1 of Lost. Want Season 2? Comment Season 2 below to let us know. Thank you for following along. See you next time.